Okay,
Word.
public table tennis setups at parks. The huge concrete ones. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, here's my theory. I'm just gonna go right into this. They are, okay. Obviously, comic ping pong.
Mm-hmm.
There's an island in the Maldives that the British elite go to, and they play ping pong, and they sacrifice children there.
Oh.
That's what those ping pong tables are for. When everything starts falling down and trickle down economics bullshit, it's going to be for local officials to sacrifice children on those cement ping pong tables.
When the beast comes back, you mean?
Yes.
Like they can just, or like when they're trying to call Moloch?
Yes.
They just
Yes.
sacrifice
Am I having
children?
a fucking stroke? I've never seen a public ping pong table. Where do you...
Open your eyes.
They're everywhere.
Their symbolism is their downfall. They hide in plain sight. They're everywhere.
Yeah, maybe it's like that thing where like you feel like you've never seen like a like an RV, and then once you see one, you start seeing them. I legit don't think I've ever seen a public ping pong
You
table.
keep your eyes open.
It's-
now.
It's
That
like
sounds
playing.
really intimate for like a public situation. Like tennis is like there's a lot of space. Ping pong is very intimate. I feel so
They've
that's
set
for
up.
that to be in a public setting doesn't feel super like.
They have concrete table tennis tables set up in public parks, and it's been like a push, and I've never seen anity fucking use them.
So I did search about this, and even here they have launched a whole bunch of them.
Isn't there like some like red shoe theory behind that too?
Yeah,
I can't remember what it is, but like it has something to do with the whole children sacrifice.
Yeah.
Even like what's been going on and like child trafficking
yes.
and like some of these like guys like wearing red shoes that are a part of that shit.
If,
and then like a lot of the other symbolism too with a lot of that like child shit is like the whole panda eyes and like the adrenochrome shit that they
Oh,
were
yeah.
mentioning. And
Yep.
I mean it's all right there. I mean a lot of that shit was what they were talking about in Fear Loathing Las Vegas. Like it's like a lot of the times like they normalize it and then they'll mock it or something like that to make it seem like it's some sort of comedic thing to get people comfortable with it.
That's the whole
Mhm.
comic ping pong theory. Like, oh, you guys are fucking crazy. Like that, it's just a pizza shop, and it's like, okay, anybody brings up ping pong related to like child sacrifices, like, okay, that was some fucking QAnon bullshit from 2018. Shut the fuck up. And it's like, no, they're just trying to normalize it. They're trying to make it like, oh yeah, that's all conspiracy theory. Like, fuck you guys. And it's like, oh no, we're just gonna put sacrificial tables in our public facilities, kind of like the Mayans did at their ritualistic holy grounds. Like
The
where they
altar.
would all gather. What the fuck is a public park? That's a place for people to gather. Like,
So if
Yeah, see,
anybody
now you got
listening
me
to
really
this,
thinking about this because like when I was younger, I'd go to friends' houses for a sleepover and they'd have a ping pong table. And little me is like, damn, this is hype. But now I'm thinking like, holy shit,
was it concrete?
46 kids went missing at that dude's house and no one ever knew why. And now I'm starting to think it might be related to the ping. No, I have no idea what you guys are talking about. I've never seen a concrete ping pong table anywhere in my life. I don't leave the house often, to be fair.
So then to enlighten our friend Boris here, anybody who's listening to this, please send us a photo of concrete ping pong tables that you find near you.
I'll fucking take you to one right now. I could throw a football from my front step to the goddamn ping pong table.
It's like playing slug bug, when you see like VW bugs on the road, except it's a child sacrifice.
Yeah.
Instead.
Okay, yeah, that's tough.
Oh, there's a concrete ping pong table. I'm just gonna go pick up a 4-year-old.
Now, so like along that same topic, as far as like the red shoes things goes, do you guys remember that bit about the Wayfair kid trafficking
Yes.
situation where you
Yes.
order? Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was thinking like they were really like quiet with that stuff, and it was like, you want a Ben-sized coffee table, wink, wink, right? I was thinking we start our own service like that, but we're just very upfront. Like we will send you a 4'9" Malaysian child, and you can do. I mean, they will act as a coffee table if that's your purpose, but there are obviously cheaper, better ways to get that accomplished. What do you think of that business model?
I think.
I mean,
I think it's already being done.
Yeah, I think
yeah,
they
we
used to
kinda
do
missed
that a
the boat
lot.
on that.
A boat, literally. Slave ships.
You know what? That does make sense. In
A
hindsight,
freight liner.
they already coined that.
But the other thing is, I think the people that were early adopters of this business model probably weren't broadcasting their business models via Discord or podcasting. So
They just had people out hawking. Maybe they were in chains in front of them and they auctioned them off.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? Now that's it's all coming back to me. That makes a lot of sense.
I mean, there was some other things too, like with not the most recent, but the one before the earthquake down in Haiti, where like the Clinton Foundation was down there, and like they were caught trying to smuggle out a bunch of kids from there that they had no fucking reason to do that for, and like people are like, well, what do you plan on doing with that shit? You know what I mean? It's like you're just gonna take kids away from families down there, and then you hear about all the other shit they're doing with child trafficking and stuff, and
Sacrifice the whole boat so Joe Biden can live for 5 more days.
Dude, like,
man, that dude looks
a corpse.
Yeah,
I don't know, like, whatever, like, he needs more than adrenochrome at this point. Like, he's like, he's comatose, like Walking Dead, fucking pale, out of it.
Now, I don't know if you guys will remember this, but back in 2015, leading up to the election,
I don't remember anything from 2015. I was in a haze.
But this one thing sticks out like a sore thumb. I posted a mock timeline on Facebook of what would happen once Donald Trump took office, because I was like pretty confident that there was going to be some crazy shit, and it was basically like, you know, he takes office, he like repeals a bunch of amendments allowing him to be president forever. He annexes Canada and then starts moving towards the eastern seaboard, and he just starts going and basically conquering, and eventually throughout the course of time, his son Barron turns into like the fucking world's like empirical like general. And basically, Donald Trump becomes the God Emperor of mankind from 40K. And
fair.
we got pretty close. I mean, to be fair, we got pretty
still
close.
2024, dude.
Yeah, we got. It could still happen. It could still happen.
We're gonna get that Trump Kanye ticket,
dude.
Yeah.
Because
Here's
they've been doing all those audits though too that no one's talking about, like with Arizona. I think Wisconsin's talking about doing it. I think there was a couple other states. I haven't been following it that closely, but it's like they're not talking about what's the results. They supposedly have results, and then no one wants to talk about that whole space program that, you know, Trump really launched, and how they were actually possibly monitoring all that shit, that Dominion systems backdoor via satellite type shit. You know what I mean? It was all like, so I mean, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how this turns out. I don't know if anybody knew anybody that went to that Mike Lindell symposium.
No,
but,
no, I didn't go.
To see. I've heard so many mixed things from people saying that was like a distraction. I think someone was mentioning that this one cat code monkey was like, did they fall for the distraction? But yeah, I've heard some pretty wild shit.
It's a metaphor because he sells pillows, so you got to be asleep to believe it.
I mean, I don't.
It
was 3 days of him just beating around the bush. You know what I mean? Not really saying shit, presenting some logical shit, but I don't know. It's
here's the theory I've heard with Trump. So they're talking about him running for a Senate position in the midterms, and then being appointed Speaker of the House. Biden getting 25th. Kamala getting assassinated. Boom. Trump's right back in the White House.
Oh, wow. I didn't even think about
the road less traveled. Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, they were talking about 5D chess or whatever. Like, he's playing the long game, according to some people. I don't know if I believe it, but I mean, it's a theory that, I mean, would make sense. I mean, if you run it to its logical conclusion, because nobody likes Kamala.
Right. So then we end up in the year 2060 and we have Pope Kanye. We have to civil war against the Amazon security forces. I can't wait.
Yeah, we're living in tent cities outside of Costco, like Idiocracy.
Yeah, the last bastion of good is gonna be Fry's Electronics.
Somehow FYE and GameStop
Right.
are ruling the world.
Yeah.
Fucking Sam Goody comes back.
We're all gonna be holed up at Galaxy Gaming trying to
Yeah.
barricade the doors.
Yeah. Threatening people with laser guns.
But the whole war is just fought over VR.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so tight, like on some Index game type shit.
Holy shit.
That'd be so sick.
I'm pretty
think about
sure
that sometimes. Like, you ever think like you know that meme that's like like born too early to like traverse the stars, born too late to traverse the seas, born just in time to traverse
use
shit thing.
Facebook.
I think about that, but how like there's actually some merit to it. Like, in no other
Right.
time in history have I been able to like psyop a 14-year-old from Kuala Lumpur halfway across the fucking world with nothing but a couple of words, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
he thinks that he's being like gang stalked by all these people in his name. Like, it's so incredible.
Topple regional elections in India.
Yeah.
You post on Facebook.
It's so ill. Like the timeline that we live in, it legitimately sounds like a
So,
schizophrenic's.
I
like, wet
purposely sow Discord in Nigeria all the time, just because it's hilarious.
dream. That's tough.
I run.
You're sending the emails back to him like, "Hey, I'm an American. I got 500 million sitting in the bank account. If you could just send me 10 grand, I can forward it to you like in 2 weeks.
Right,
Just help me out."
I run 2 Nigerian websites that always have the same news stories but from differing points of view. So I just let it loose and then see what happens.
That's how warlords get started, but in the 22nd
I
century.
was just gonna say that's how you start some wars.
This is how this is how I sell my automated century turret business. So then like they all want it, and then
Speaking of which, are you still sitting on your physical throne of Zimbabwean dollars?
I actually have a couple $1 trillion notes still somewhere.
That's so sick. That's so incredible.
I am a legitimate trillionaire in Africa.
Yeah.
It's
In the
all-
90s.
Einstein said it's all relative.
If I can time travel to like 1985, I am the richest man on the planet.
There you go.
So, Slick, I know I've told you a few things about this, but I don't think our other 2 friends here have heard. If you guys are cool with it, I can tell you a little bit about my time at a company that I used to work for
Yes, please.
called Digital Forensics Corp. And if
That
you want, you
doesn't
can
sound
Google
shady
them
at
real
all.
quick. They're still up and running, and I'm not going to get too deep into like details. I'll switch out names and everything like that.
No, don't do
since,
that.
there is still some pretty shady shit happening, and
Are you
I was
worried
actually
about
invited
prison or
into a class
assassination?
action lawsuit against them, and I declined because I didn't want my name to be involved with anything along those lines. But
Good call. It's not worth the $5 check you'd get.
yeah, no, absolutely not. Anyway, so peep this. It's 2017. I've just come back to Cleveland after a bit of a family like emergency. Like, everything's fine now, everything's chilling. But anyway, due to that emergency and my old employer, I lost my job. So I was job hunting again, and I found myself working at a Verizon shop, fixing phones for people, selling phones, etc. And in one day, on a Friday, walks this older, not older, maybe like mid 40s, clearly Russian guy. And for the sake of the story, I'll call him Vladimir.
Wait, I don't want to interrupt your flow, but how do you define clearly Russian? This sounds a little racist to me.
Yeah.
So he's like
Well,
he's like 5'6", 5'7".
Oh, say no more.
Ripped as shit. Yeah, ripped as shit. He's got that
Carrying
that
an
jawline.
AK-47. Handle of
He's
vodka.
carrying a gold-plated AK. No, he's got that jawline, but you know what really gave it away was the aviators. Okay, he was legit wearing gold,
I was
like
like a gold chain or some
gold.
shit, too.
Yeah, he was wearing gold-plated aviators. And then, of course, as soon as he opened his mouth, he was like, "Yes, hello, my telephone. It stopped working. I need help with a new one." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, this dude's clearly Russian, or at least somewhere around those areas." So anyway, dude walks in. I help him out with a new phone. I even show him how to like transfer his old stuff over. I go the extra mile for him, whatever. Towards the end of the transaction, keep in mind my manager's right next to me helping someone else, so he can overhear all this. Towards the end of the transaction, he like pulls up his glasses and like puts them on his forehead. He goes, "Hey, Boris, you're very good with computers and cell phone, and you have good head on your shoulder. Do you like working here?" And I'm like, just looking around. My manager's looking at me like cockeyed. I'm like, "Yeah, it's not bad." And he goes, "I think you would like work with I think you'd like work with me better. Here my card, and give me call if interest." I'm like, "Okay." And I take his card and I just slip it in my pocket. My manager's looking at me like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "Man, I just don't want to be rude, you know." Anyway, fast forward to Monday, I'm working at this company. Legitimately, in a span of 48 hours, this dude interviewed me, had me onboarded, and on the Monday after that Friday, I'm working at this company, which is like 10 minutes down the street from this Verizon shop. So,
Do you
let me explain to you.
Like,
Yeah, go ahead.
How like you have a buff ass Russian dude come in and you're working on his phone and he's like, you didn't see that as like a threat, you saw that as like a business opportunity? Like,
well, keep in mind this is 2017, so I would have been like 21, 22. I was relatively broke at the time, and
right, but
I'd worked at Verizon already for like years, and I was just sick of it. So like
I'm saying
fucking,
like, oh, this dude just he's in a pinch, needs his phone fixed quick, and he's like wondering what you saw on his phone is like,
Oh, no. There was nothing like that.
Oh,
I
it
helped
was
him
all
with a
cordial.
brand new phone, and I helped him transfer his stuff over. I didn't see
gotcha.
anything. I was just like, I was very cordial and courteous. I've always been good at talking to people, and so towards the end of the process, he like, I think, as that, and he was like, "Hey, I think you might be a good fit," basically, and he gave me his card and told me to call him.
I would have skipped town as fast as I fucking could.
I take every opportunity presented to me.
I was gonna
just
say, let me
yes.
tell you, bro, you are a wiser man than I am. So anyway, yeah, fast forward to Monday, right? And I walk into this building. It's called Digital Forensics Corp. Now, what DFC did, and that's what I'll refer to them, is DFC was a two-part business. And for my first month and a half of employment there, I only knew about the first part, which was data recovery. So what they would do is, let's say a mom in California has an iPhone or something with a lot of family pictures and messages and stuff that she cherishes. Phone gets dropped in the water, no longer works. She wants all that stuff, but she forgot to port it to iCloud or whatever. She can send that phone to us. We'll take all the data off of it as much as we can recover for a fee, and then we'll send all that data back to her and the phone on a hard drive.
And then blackmail them with it later.
Hard drive, right? Yeah. So like very simple,
Okay, yeah,
like very, yeah, like very simple, very easy sort of business model. I was like, okay, that's cool. So my first month and a half was just spent talking to these customers and like basically telling them, yeah, this is what we do. Here's the pricing, yada, yada. Every so often, though, I'd get a call that was like, "Hey, can I talk to someone at Digital Investigations?" And I'm like, "What the fuck is Digital Invest?" So I would ask my manager, who, by the way, was the same Russian guy. Like it was the guy that ran the company. It was like 40 people that worked there. I would ask him, like, "What's this Digital Investigation?" He goes, "Oh, just transfer to 999. I'm like, "Okay." So I transferred to 999. And that happened maybe 3 or 4 times. I thought it was weird, but I didn't really question it because honestly, I was getting paid like double to do the easiest work I'd ever done compared to what I was doing at Verizon. So fast forward a month and a half, I'm like settling in, and in comes Vladimir one day, and he's like, "Dennis, he's like, "Boris, I think you are doing very well. I think you could potentially move on to a better position, perhaps make more salary. How are you interested?" I'm like, "Oh, that sounds great." And he starts talking to me about the second half of the company, which is it's like 10 different names, but the most common one was Digital Investigations. Now, what they did as their second part of their business was basically what they referred to as digital forensics. So let's say, again, that same mom that's back in California, she gets her phone back, she gets all the messages back, and she starts looking at the messages, and she's like, "Wait a second, this isn't me." And she starts suspecting that maybe her husband is cheating on her. So she can contact that same company that just helped her recover all her stuff, ask to speak to a different part of that company, and we will perform a high intensity, in-depth infidelity investigation into her husband. Now, the way we
Like
do that
deep inside of her
is by-
husband?
yeah,
Like deep in
basically,
him?
basically, we ask the client very formally, we have them sign a waiver and the contract and everything prior to anything being done, that they will, with permission, get their husband's phone. They will upload the data to us via a remote drive that we send them. We'll get that drive back, and then we will parse through that drive to find if their sort of thoughts of infidelity have any credence, if any of this is actually happening, right? Now, here's the fucked up part. Obviously, we're saying, get your husband's permission, this, that, and the other. So liability-wise, we are totally fine. But 99 out of 100 times, they're never talking to their husband or their wife and being like, hey, honey, I think you're cheating. To prove it, I've hired this company and I would like you to hand over your phone to just, set things straight. No, they're fucking waiting until 2 a.m,
Right.
going into the room, grabbing the phone, plugging this hard drive into it that just runs like a parsing software that grabs everything on that phone. And then they unplug it half an hour later, set it back where it was, and they send us the drive. So already extremely bubbly gray waters, so to speak.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So here's where it gets really funny. My position that I was promoted to was a senior forensic analyst. I legit went from on the phone 4 steps up, and my pay matched it. I was making more money at 22 than I'd ever seen in my life. What my job became was basically talking to these customers, and if there were any of them that were particularly in need of fast or very discreet service, I was the one to handle them. Me and this other guy named
You were the cleaner?
we'll call him Eric. I was the cleaner. Me and Eric were the cleaners. And we had salespeople as well that would sometimes call us into the room if they needed help explaining the more technical parts of the process. And just to give you an idea of what we would do to some of these people, there would be other people that would call in, not infidelity related. They'd be like, hey, the government is tracking me. I can prove it. I have 19 burner phones I need you to scan for signs of outside threats.
Dude, come on.
And we'd be
I signed a waiver.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. $500 a phone. Hand it over.
You're not supposed to tell
We'll
people about what I requested service for.
So peep this. We'd have people calling in that were so obviously just batshit out of their mind that the salespeople would just be like, hold on, ma'am, I'm sensing some interference on your end. Let me see if I can fix it. And they would on their
I think your microchip is
desktop,
they would
on their desktop computer, they would pull up videos of gunfights and just start playing gunfight sounds in the background, or A-10 warthogs flying over field and shooting their cannons. And the customer would be like, do you hear that? What's going on? And our salespeople would just be like, I don't hear anything. I'm sorry. And we would just terrorize these people. And I will not try and pretend like I was above it. I'm laughing harder than anyone there. We would just terrorize these poor people, for just trying to get some help with their phone being hacked or something. But
taking advantage of schizophrenics is par for the course, I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say it seems pretty fitting. So, there's one part I want to talk about specifically, which is when I was promoted to the senior analyst position. Sometimes we'd have clients order premium rush service, which means we don't send them a recovery drive or drives, depending on what they need. Instead, we'll send an agent to actually do the recovery on site. So there were 3 times that I was flown out, once in Los Angeles, once in Minneapolis, and another time to Oklahoma to help people with all these different sort of problems that they had. I'll talk about the Los Angeles one because it's definitely the most interesting. So this sports agent lady, and I'm not going to mention any names, but this sports agent lady who apparently she represented Richard Sherman, Steven Gerrard a long time ago, really high up names in football and soccer.
Jeez.
Would one of those names happen to be the client?
Yeah. She calls us and she says, hey, I think my husband was killed by the mafia. They staged it to look like a car accident. And immediately we're like, yeah, absolutely. We hear that, stuff like that all the time.
That happens every day.
Help. Yeah.
Let me take care of that for you.
So she ends up paying something I want to say $18,000 for us to fly out overnight and get all these phones and laptops and stuff that he had scanned. And who do they send out there but young Boris, right? I'm 22, okay? I shave and I look like I'm 13, so I'm like trying my best to like put on like an aura of confidence. I fly out there to LA. I go to one of the they have these things called Regency or something like that offices. They're like satellite offices that you can use when you're like needing to do a meeting outside of your office or home. So we go to this office building. I basically set everything up. She shows up with her assistant, who's like a 10 out of 10, obviously like trying to get into acting or something, working for this lady, which God bless her heart.
Acting, okay.
And
too early
she
for
starts,
OnlyFans, huh?
Yeah. She starts going over everything. Now, the deal was initially that she had something like 9 phones, 4 laptops, and like 3 old burner cell phones. So like 15 devices. Gentlemen, I shit you not, this lady shows up with 4 duffel bags worth of shit. She's got like 60 devices.
Jesus.
Okay? And I see all this and I'm like, I'm sorry, I was not the sales representative involved with this. Did you end up ordering more? And she goes, no, I just found all this other stuff and I thought it'd be worth taking a look as well. I'm like, well, there's no way that we can do this without them knowing. Like, I can't do extra work. It's going to triple the amount of time I need to be here. And she goes, no problem. Just get me hooked up to the sales rep. So I call him, hand her over the phone. I shit you not, while I'm on the phone with her, she wires another $30,000 to the company for these extra devices. And my boss of Vladimir calls me. He's like, it is no worry, Boris. You stay as long as needed. Make sure everything's taken care of. Tell her everything she needs to know, this, that. And so he ends up like extending my hotel, extending my flight back like another 4 or 5 days. And so I have like 3 or 4 days in LA to myself after all was said and done. But throughout this whole process, she's asking me shit like, what do you see? Like, what can you find? And she was told this at every step of the way, that the person that recovers the data is not the person that's going to be parsing through it. Like, to me, it's just it's files being transferred. So I don't actually see anything unless I go into specific files, which would take forever. It's the engineers back at the office, which are really just a bunch of, I can say with almost certainty, illegal Russians working out of a basement in like actual clean rooms and shit that are using their like homebrewed programs to actually look through these phones and stuff. So I tell her multiple times, I can't see anything. We have to get this back to the engineers. They'll let you know what they find. But every like 30 minutes or so, she asks me like, oh, what was that? Did you see that? And I'm like, holy shit, I have no way to help you.
It was
with
a
this.
bird.
At some point throughout this process, she steps out to take a phone call or have a cigarette or something, and she leaves the assistant in the room. And I lock eyes with the assistant, and she just looks at me and she goes, yeah, do you want a Xanax? And I'm like, yes, absolutely. she hands over, she pops out her medications and hands one to me. And for the rest of the fucking process, I'm just rolling. And somehow like everything matches up to how it's supposed to. And I get all this shit done in like 2 days when it should have taken like 4. So then I have like 3 or 4 days left in LA to myself. Now check this out. After I'm done with everything, she's super thankful. Like, she's very happy that I did all this for her. She goes to me and she says, Boris, thank you so much for helping. I have one thing I want to ask you because it's clear you're knowledgeable about this stuff. Between you and me, I think my house is bugged. And I would like you to sweep for bugs at my house.
Jesus.
And she says, this is not something related to your company. I am willing to have my lawyers, prep a contract and get everything ready. Like, I will legitimately have a $1 million liability on this contract. I will pay you $10,000 to come to my house for a few hours and just sweep as best you can and see if you can find anything. And I sat there and I'm like, holy fuck, man. Like, what the fuck would you do in that situation, right? Like, I'm thinking, I legit, yeah. I was so just blasted. Like, I had no, like, I'm off of Zanny, rolling high as I've ever been. And she's like, we need you to sweep for bugs. And her assistant's looking at me and just like mouthing, like shaking her head, like, no. And I'm like, that's so much money. And so finally I told her, I'm like, I'm sorry. That's not my area of expertise. I can't do it. I'll see if I can find a reference and maybe have a friend that lives out in this area do it for you. And she was like, okay, no problem. And yeah, that's pretty much the end of it. If you're curious, we didn't find anything pointing to any
fucking lucky you
mafia
got out of there.
interference.
They're fucking
There was nothing
drugging you.
strange happening at all. So yeah.
There was nothing. That whole story
Nothing.
built up to nothing. I love
That's
it.
95% of the cases at DFC is people just with too much money and too much time. Like, you know, what the fuck do they say? Idle or
Idle hands are the devil's playground.
there you go. Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I've got, when I used to do like phone support shit all the time, I would I worked for like oh shit, there was like a tornado here real quick. I would do internet support for people, and there was a dude who would call in every other day and was a obvious schizophrenic, and every day he would call in and ask for me by name, and then he would say the king of Denmark is dead, and I'm like I think he's still alive. And he's like, no, dude, that's code. They're after me. And it was like the same thing every day. He would always have some other story. Like he in his exact words, he's like, I'm doing hacker battle right now. They got in and deleted everything I had. I had all of the evidence. And I'm like, I used to just like burn time on the phone with him. So I was like, oh my God, what did they get? And then he would just like start rambling about like all of the conspiracies he's uncovered. And he's like, I know they've got it. I know they've got a chip in my head. They put the instructions in every day over the radio. I'm like, oh no, what do they say? And like he never makes sense. It's just he's just rambling on and on about all the things they are doing to him.
Now imagine, right, being on the phone with the type of person, super funny, super entertaining. Imagine being in the same room, face to face, for 8 hours in 2 days.
Yeah, no,
bro,
thank you.
I was sweating bullets the whole time, man. It's like 60 fucking degrees in this office, and I'm just covered in sweat because this lady's like interrogating me about shit that doesn't even make sense.
Right now, how the fuck you gotta wonder where that money comes from, I guess. Who just throwing around 30
like
grand
I said,
on
I mean,
nothing?
she was a sports agent. Like, I looked her up, and I'm like, holy fuck, she's actually, like, in the industry. And then her husband did die in a car accident. All right, so check it out. There was one weird bit that stood out about this that I thought was very strange.
Okay.
So when she brought all the extra devices, right, and she was like, yeah, I'll pay for these. My the boss of the company basically told me, yeah, take the credit card I gave you, go to Best Buy, buy extra hard drives so you can have all the other stuff, and buy an extra suitcase so you can carry it all back, and we'll take care of everything. I'm like, okay, cool. So I didn't have a car out there. I was just Ubering everywhere. She goes, I'll drive you to Best Buy. I need to buy a new phone anyway. They've already compromised my old phone. And I'm like, okay, sure, why not? So she drives me to Best Buy along with her assistant. She bought a new phone. Like, I went and bought all my shit, and she's getting her new phone set up. I shit you not, dude. Literally 30 seconds after she got this phone activated on a brand new SIM card, brand new phone number, she gets a text message that just says hello. Like, it just says hello. And she's like, look. And I'm like, that's pretty fucking weird. Like, I legit weird. For a second, I was like, there is some shit going on. So, man, fuck,
what if it's
knows?
the
Like,
assistant?
Maybe there was some
fucking with
shit.
it.
Yeah, maybe it was just the assistant testing. I don't know. That bitch was so fucking crazy, man. I'm so happy that I never have to talk to her again.
I was just gonna say, why didn't you go to Jared's while she was at Best Buy activating her phone? Seems like wife material to me.
Yeah.
I wish I could find a woman as paranoid as I am.
Right.
We could live in a bunker together.
They're out there, man. They are out there. I promise you.
I know, but the ones with the money, I guess.
Yeah, I want a paranoid schizophrenic girl who also has $1 million in the bank. Ladies, if you match that description, please contact me telepathically.
Yeah.
We can form a link. It is now like the 9th house of Aquarius, so you should be able to reach me.
Oh, man.
That's fucking nuts.
Yeah, if you guys want, I can tell you about the Minneapolis trip. The Oklahoma one was like super straight and narrow. Like everything was fine. There was nothing crazy. But the Minneapolis trip was pretty crazy. Do you want to hear about that one?
Yeah.
Okay. So we get a call. This is the first trip that I took for this company. So we get a call from this guy, and he basically says like, "Hey, yada yada yada. I know how you guys do business. I don't care. I am also in the area of
rich
digital
people
forensics.
so much.
You have access to a piece of software that I do not. I cannot get the license to use it in the time span that I need, and so therefore I literally just need you to come out here. I need you to on-site transfer information from an iPhone to a hard drive, and once that's done, we'll all be set." And all he needed was this thing called Celebrite. It's like a software that lets you back up and restore data, but Celebrite had a licensing deal with Apple, so it worked on Apple devices too. And he basically didn't have that license, and we did. Or I think we might have just not cared. I'm not sure.
Sounds like
But anyway,
a fucking midday prescription.
yeah, we advertised on our website
and...
that we had the license. So
right.
Celebrate. Yeah, who knows?
Celebrate will make your life brighter every day. Side effects may include death, erections lasting more than 4 hours, high blood pressure, low blood pressure.
So he says all this stuff, and my boss is like, "Hey, Eric is not here for the week. We need you to fly out and talk to this guy." And I'd only been at this new position for like 2 weeks, so I was very nervous. I'm like, okay. He told me the story. He told me all the setup. I'm like, okay, that sounds easy enough. So I fly out to Minneapolis, and this dude, like the client, took care of the hotel. He took care of the like arrangements for everything. Like everything was all set. I don't remember the name of the hotel, but it's the tallest one in downtown Minneapolis. It might have been a Hilton. I can't remember. But we're on like the 35th floor or some shit. Like we're super high up,
overlooking Lake Minnetonka.
Yeah, like yeah, the fucking the purifying waters of Lake Minnetonka.
Exactly.
And I walk into this room, and I'm looking at this guy, and he doesn't look real. Okay, he legit looks like he's out of the Matrix. He's wearing a suit and a tie. I'm just wearing like our company fucking polo. He's wearing a suit and a tie, slacks. He's got like fucking like Doc Martens. Like he's got a Rolex. Dude legit looks like out of a fucking like a superstar like type movie.
36 bags of guns.
He's got to be
munitions.
at least like 50 or something. And he invites me in, shakes my hand, whatever. He's like, "Yeah, all I need you to do is transfer stuff from here to here. From what I've read about Celebrate stuff, should take about 30 minutes. During that 30 minutes, I talked to this guy for like maybe 10 seconds. We just started yapping about like everything that he'd seen during his time in digital forensics. And I could tell he was like a legit actual like forensic analyst. I just had the title. He actually knew what he was doing. This guy offered to show me Hillary's emails on his laptop, which I did partake in.
I called it.
I'm like, no problem there. He also offered to show me like a bunch of shit, like stuff about Gaddafi and the shit that was happening in Syria at the time.
"Hey kid,
like,
want to see how we canoed Gaddafi?"
Yeah, dude, all this fucking classified
Check this
shit.
out.
By the way, like if you're curious about the Hillary emails thing, literally the only things of interest were messages from the Speaker of the House at the time, which I believe was Paul Ryan, and her. They were talking in code about stuff, which was very weird. And he didn't know what the code was, but they would send messages back and forth just saying like Black Elephant, or they would send an email that just said like Red Canyon, like very, very weird shit.
Oh, I know what that is.
Yeah, and he's pointing this out, and he's like, "There are people right now making more money than you or I ever will in our lives, just trying to figure out what these words mean." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's tight. Like, I just need to transfer the stuff and get the fuck out of here.
I was going the same direction.
A fucking red glint on my forehead. You feel me, bro?" And yeah, that one was like, it was less scary, but it was way more interesting. All the shit that this dude told me. He said that at some point in the 90s, he got flown out to London to deal with the but to do some preliminary investigations into the Princess Diana shit.
That's my new favorite phrase for offing someone is preliminary investigation.
Yeah.
yeah, 100%. So he got flown out once Princess Diana died to find out more about the situation using like her cell phone and stuff. And he was actually like on hand working with that shit. He had to get sworn into like the not parliament, but whatever the fuck their royal shit is called. He had to get sworn in as like
they're the ones that sing like "Stop Light,"
yeah, like
right? The funk band.
Yeah, like some kind of person basically to prove that he wasn't gonna like fucking, I don't know, like fucking betray the crowd or some shit. Dude,
Or
yeah,
the
this guy
king
had stories
himself.
for days. It was so crazy.
That's fucked up.
But yeah, that's basically my time at DFC in a nutshell. I could tell you way more shit about their business practices. Talking to the attorney generals of 5 different states on a phone call.
Okay.
I could tell you about pricing and how they would gouge people alive based on the average median income of their zip code. Like, man, there was just so much shit DFC did that was
like,
so fucking illegal. The fact that they're still open is so crazy.
Let's just start a whole podcast how to scam people in different states.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean the most basic part of it is like if you have a supply and demand type of service and you want to be a real scumbag, you should just charge people based on the average median income of their zip code.
That's called capitalism.
Yeah, I'm also pretty
Hell
sure
yeah,
that's
free
fraud. I don't
markets.
think you can do that legally. But
That's
yeah,
so tight.
that was my time at DFC in a nutshell.
When
That
you were
place was
describing
fucking
that
wild.
guy, I instantly knew he was a Fed or a contractor.
100%. Yeah,
Like, there was
100,000%.
no way.
Contractor for sure. I don't think he was a Fed because I'm pretty sure there's something like unless he's one of those deeply embedded type people, which I'm sure exist, but I think there is something stating that like if the FBI or someone wants to work with a private company, they have to basically prove or show proof that they are FBI, so there's no like foul play at work. So yeah, he was definitely a contractor.
you just
if I
have a
had to guess,
contractor
for a
do
bunch
it.
of different companies and stuff.
Right.
Probably a contractor for the CIA.
Right. One of their shell corporations.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. When we were like earlier when we were talking, this was a while ago, but we were talking about like just made like an offhand joke about future wars being fought through VR. I read a news article today where they were talking about new biotechnology where you would be able to serve 1,000-year prison sentence in your mind in like 8 minutes, which
That's tight.
if you're like from, it's definitely not. But you'd be, they lock you down and force you to orgasm for 1,000 years, and then it's only 8 minutes.
I'm pretty sure that's like a Black Mirror episode.
Right.
I'm almost positive I've seen that shit.
But like, every piece of sci-fi kind of has that trope where you can get locked in your mind and you experience like eternity, but it's only like 30 seconds in the actual physical world. But it got me thinking. So here's a little conspiracy theory that I've never read anywhere. I've never seen it mentioned. I'm not saying I came up with it, but I think they already do shit like this. Because what never sat right with me is, the whole Bradley Manning, Chelsea Manning thing. That whole thing doesn't make sense to me. It has never made sense to me. The military does not pay for your gender reassignment surgery. And they for sure don't do it when you're in prison being accused of treason.
Yeah.
They 100% don't go, oh, we're going to try you for treason. By the way, whatever you need, let us know. We'll just give it to you. It doesn't make sense, right?
What if it was like a last meal sort of situation where it's like, do you want steak? Do you want pork chops?
Just cut my
I
dick
would like
off.
to be a female.
Let's get real conspiracy theory with it. Maybe they're like, because she became such a high profile figure,
a little closer.
That they were like, we can't really just like off you.
Exactly. That was my exact point.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna pay for your.
You tried him for treason, and you put him in prison, or you kill him.
And you tried him for treason.
You tried him for treason, or you kill him. They instantly become a martyr, a symbol, and they essentially proved you blow the whistle, the government just killed. Like there would be instant rebellion.
Yeah.
So
maybe
they just made him a woman. Because if you sissify all of the red states, and like, oh, what a queer!
Holy shit, you're actually right.
Yeah,
wow,
dude,
that's a very good point.
And
just the fact that they allowed them to transition probably like immediately threw out like all the
go commit treason and then ask for a pizza. You're not gonna get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Well, they just do this. And they just came out in public and were like, oh, they wanted it and we respect those choices. And bullshit.
So instead of having a dead switch, he had a trans switch.
Right.
That's
Trans Am.
crazy.
I don't know why that was funny, but it wasn't, but it was. But like for real, I think about that a lot. And then the news comes on and they're like, oh, here's one picture pulled off of a private Facebook no one has access to where he wore a dress and a costume at one point. He must have always wanted to be a woman. And like doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, why does everyone have the same picture that no one else can get or see? And the whole thing stunk to me from the beginning, and I've never heard anybody say this. I've never read it anywhere. I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying I came up with that. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people who are like, they did it. But it bothers me. It legitimately bothers me because I think about it a lot and I'm like, there's no way they tortured him into this. Yeah. And I'm calling him, not her. I'm not intentionally misgendering for anybody out there. I really don't. I don't know that this was. This is new wave execution.
Yeah.
This
is
the
very
new
strange
way.
that they. I'll just call them they for the same. It is very strange that they were less than 5 years ago locked up, basically like ready for the chopping block.
Right.
And now they're freely posting on Twitter. That to me, yeah, it seems like there was some sort of like agreement or deal reached where both parties were satisfied that the other wouldn't rat. And
yes,
somewhere in the midst of that, gender reassignment surgery was offered as like a card.
So I have thought about that.
Maybe
yeah,
they. That's the narrative, is they wanted him to
be the onus for this new political climate we have right now, or this...
they no good crisis goes on,
right.
You
use this whole thing.
So instead of like doing the old school thing where you assassinate somebody and then have them do plastic surgery and create a new identity, just kill them and then have some crackhead tranny that looks similar to him just take their place and here, we're just gonna take care of you. Just follow our narrative. You don't really have to be in the
for some reason this has been, since it happened, has always been in the back of my mind, and I can't like get it out because I really think they fucked with him while he was there, or fucked with them while they were there, and this was not they made them want it, like they were just seeing what they could do, and this, or like you had said, I did also think about it possibly being some form of an agreement, like you do this, you walk, you don't, your life is like this forever. They don't let them sleep like 23 hours a day of daylight, and then the 1 hour sleep they're just like banging on the door or something. Like they don't, they torture them the whole time, whether you believe it or not. Mm-hmm. It's not like they're like, this is your forever if you don't do this. So it might not have been some secret tech or brainwashing. It might have literally just been like, we're going to torture you until you break. But I think about it all the time, and I think it was pretty fucked up because they don't do this for anyone. You break your leg in the you get shot in the military, they hardly fix you up.
Yeah.
They don't do a fucking thing for you. You're going to tell me they fucking cut your dick off and give you estrogen? It doesn't even make sense. It like doesn't compute at all. So I don't know, maybe that's just
there was that push, like early or late in Obama's thing when they were like, oh yeah, we can help with gender reassignment stuff, but it never, like, as far as I know, like got through. But yeah, either they're torching the shit out of him or them made an agreement and said, yeah, we'll pay for this, just shut your fucking mouth, or we're gonna keep you in solitary, torture you, and we'll just push out somebody that looks like you to be you, pay them off, and we can try and extract information from you.
Yeah, I mean That seems what it's like to me, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what, gentlemen, this has really sort of dissuaded me from my. I mean, at the beginning of this podcast, I was really looking forward to my time in the Marines, and now I'm really starting to second guess it.
I think he could have.
As long as you don't pull the too short and blow the whistle on him.
Yeah. Yeah. You can either blow the whistle or do the private pile.
Yeah.
You pick.
they lock you in solitary and play Too Shorts, blow the whistle 24/7, and that's all you hear.
Yeah.
It go on and on.
You just got an M4 in your mouth, like, God damn it.
What's the? All right, so you know how like there's always that thing in movies and like TV shows with terrorists where they'll like lock them in a room and they'll play heavy metal. What do you think is like the coolest piece of music they've ever played for someone locked and the person was actually kind of like vibing to it? Like you think someone was ever locked into a room and they played 808s and Heartbreak and the guy's like, damn, this actually kind of slaps. Like I haven't slept for 48 hours, but this is kind of nice.
You just throw in like a yacht rock Kenny Loggins playlist and like, fuck these guys. We're gonna figure out where these fucking Taliban leaders are at, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, this dude's just vibing, and then yeah,
that's sick.
Long ago.
Yeah, he's like humming it while they're fucking tearing his fingernails off.
I always hear in those articles where they do that, they always play Metallica. And like Gitmo, they play Metallica and they hate it, so it must be like Saint Anger is the most horrible thing you can listen to over
100%.
and over.
Yeah, that
Load
doesn't
and
do
Load
any
2
favors
over and over again.
Give me fuel, give me fire, Twin Towers I desire.
So, you mentioned like it being stuck in the back of your head for a long time. I have something similar, not like in theme, but there's one thing that's always been stuck in the back of my head that I've wondered about, but I've always been too much of a pussy to like act out on. All right, so you know like how and again, I've only seen this happen in like movies and TV shows, but I imagine they have to take it from somewhere, so there must be some sense of truth to it.
Yeah,
you know how when like someone tries to commit suicide by jumping off of like a really high building
and landing on a dick.
Yeah, and landing on a dick. You know how sometimes they'll put like a big mattress underneath while the hostage negotiator or whoever is like trying to talk them down.
Hostage negotiator, suicide. I mean, I like this because it's like you're implying suicide is holding yourself hostage.
I mean, it kind of is.
I swear to fucking God, right? I'll kill myself.
If you are the Lords, you are holding yourself hostage from the Lord.
Get me a fucking helicopter, or I swear to God, I'm gonna kill myself.
I demand $500,000 and 2 big titty whores, or I'll blow my brains out. Fuck, I wish I knew it was that easy.
Bonnie and Clyde shit, but it's just Bonnie, and she's like, I swear to God.
Okay, but yeah, giant mattress.
Yeah, but I'm thinking like they set up that huge mattress, right? So, like, they must set up that mattress because it's meant to like stop you from dying if you jump off this huge building. So what is stopping someone that just wants to have a really fun time from climbing up on a building, waiting until all this commotion happens? They set up the huge mattress, and then they just do like a triple backflip gainer off of the fucking building onto this mattress. And they land, and they were just like, nah, I was just kidding. I just wanted to jump off a really high building and not die.
I couldn't afford to go to Six Flags.
So. Yeah, I was like, you think like you got this guy, right? 5 kids in the trailer park, wants to get his kids like a bouncy house or a Jupiter jump for their birthday. Can't do it. So he crawls up to the edge of a building and hides the kids underneath, and he's like, I'm gonna off myself, and they pull it out, and all the kids get up, start and jump off. He's like, all right.
Oh, hold on all right, you hold your brothers for about 30 minutes, and they should show up with the big jumpy thing, and that's where we go. All right.
It's not loaded. I swear to God, I just gotta make them believe it. It's not a big deal. All right, I hear you, officer. Get the fucking mattress.
No, sweetie. No, it's not loaded. It's not loaded. Don't worry. Just get it. Just shush.
Kelly, Skylar, shut the fuck up. It's not loaded. It's fine. Daddy's not gonna. Do you want a fucking 5th birthday party or not? Shut the fuck up.
Inside, instead of a live round, it's like fucking shoots confetti and a happy birthday flag.
Yeah, he's got a confetti popper. He's like, I swear to God, I hit him with. Get my ex-wife on the phone. Get her. Fuck you. Get her on the fucking phone.
Chantel, I swear to God.
Skylar, shut the fuck up. It's just a party popper.
Oh man.
They're blowing up the mattress. Just shut up. There'll be Dalmatians down there you can pet. Shut the fuck up.
SWAT team just breaks into the roof and starts smashing all their faces.
Frag out.
Yeah, just starts gunning him down because there's 5 kids
And
huddled in the corner.
they didn't know the kids were there, and they flashbang them. They're all blind and deaf forever.
Oh man.
I just wanted a new tablet for my birthday.
Can't afford a tablet. We're gonna get the free air mattress for the suiciders.
Oh.
Oh,
The fire
Jesus.
department brought this out just for you. Shut the fuck up.
Oh.
What have you been up to?
Man, I've been busy with work and just trying to get some other stuff going with art and shit. I haven't really been posting too much or sharing too much, just all things considered, but just staying busy with other shit, really. We're
Good.
working on a little custom backboard right now, basketball backboard for this other local artist, where it's basically taking one of his characters and transforming it into just a basketball backboard. So I'll probably post that sometime sooner than later. But aside from that, just working on that first time home buyership and
That's dope.
just maintaining for now while we're dealing with all this other bullshit.
I gotta try to run some first time home buyer scams. I've been thinking about that. I'm gonna start hitting up foreign exchange students because apparently they qualify for those programs and have them start
shit.
buying houses and then selling them to me.
That's tight.
it's gonna be
Hey,
so
well,
dope.
there's this other dude I've been talking to. He's looking at buying up some. I think he's down in Florida and actually minting different plots of the land as NFTs, so people anywhere around the world can essentially own land, and then you just take. I don't know how he's mentioned, like the title or the deed of the plot to wherever you're at, and like.
It sounds like those things where you send like $12 to Scotland and then you're a lord because
Yeah.
you have like
Yeah,
an
I
inch
was
by
just about
inch
to
plot.
say. Yeah, they take like a 1 cubic inch piece of dirt and they're like, "This is yours."
Yeah, you got the title of.
He's like, it's 100 by 100 plots, and I'm like, well, what do you know? The hope is that people are going to buy more than just one and set it up, and I'm like, well, we'll see.
It'll be so
You're either gonna
awesome.
do it through OpenSea,
Like
I'm like, you're gonna do it through OpenSea, and you have this currency, kind of like with some of the other ones, where it's like, so you want people to use Ethereum to purchase this shit on OpenSea instead of actually using the currency that's supposed to be backing it. So how the fuck does that benefit that? So it's kind of one of those type of things where I feel like he's just kind of going after a quick grab.
Yeah, pump and dump.
well, what would be
or
so
just gonna
dope
see what he
though?
can get out of people. He's just gonna dip real quick.
Well,
There's
like
a lot of
so
those happening right now
he-
around the NFT scene.
just say he sells all of them, right? And sells them to like 5 different guys, and they buy these plots and they have these territories, and then it turns into like Game of Thrones on this like little 100 plot thing. Where it's like this fucking
Farmville
civil
thing.
war in the
It's
middle
like
of
you
Florida.
literally-
Like,
Yeah, and he's like, we're gonna make it like a Farmville thing to where you can actually like, I'll have like real animals. Like if you want to buy a cow, you can. I'll have cows. That'll be.
you spend some crypto, you get a tomato.
And
And,
it's like, we'll probably tax some shit. I'm like, how are you gonna tax some shit through OpenSea? I don't think there is that. I don't think you can tax your own shit through OpenSea, but it's like the tax from the currency will go towards paying that. I'm like, so people are gonna be investing in this currency that isn't backing this whole idea, so it doesn't like benefit it. So, I mean, how is it gonna? Why are people gonna want to buy the currency if it has nothing to do with or the token or whatever? You know what I mean? It's just kind
Right.
of one of those weird like. It just doesn't connect. You know what I mean? It's like you got this great idea, and I feel like you're just hoping that people are going to buy into it,
so
and then you can just run off with people's money.
I'm not gonna lie, I made a wrong call on Bitcoin in like 2012, so that's why I'm doing this podcast instead of jerking off in the Cayman Islands. But
Oh shit!
I'm in the same boat now with NFTs where I'm like, this is like bubblegum trading cards to me. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, I just
Yeah, some of it.
I know there's cool shit
I
you can
mean,
do. I know there is.
the allocation, like the random allocation stuff. I've been reading up on some of the articles that's been,
Yep.
posted with Secret Network and some of the stuff like they
Shout
did
out to Secret.
like a spin-off of CryptoPunks where they're doing like randomly allocated or like uh, I don't want to. I guess we'll say like accessories or features. I know that's what a lot of it's been. So that way they can do like 10,000 and 5,000. It's still kind of mind blowing that you're still obviously having to sit there and have an artist at least draw these things so that it can be like just dropped in somewhere. But it's like, yeah, I mean, I'm just sitting here trying to figure out like, all right, how am I going to make five? You know what I mean?
So I'm thinking of like, I gotta think of some way to monetize this. Like, I like take Polaroids of my balls and then sell the NFTs of them, and then burn the original Polaroid.
Their Matchbox or Hot Wheels collection. They minted that shit. They were trying to get like 0.5 Ethereum, 0.05
What?
for like some open package, like scuffed up Hot Wheels on OpenSea. And I'm like, I can't knock the hustle, but I was like, I don't know if you doing this right, but maybe you.
No, they're doing
He's
it.
on some meta shit.
They're doing it exactly right because there's people
Yeah, that's what I mean.
coming in hot on NFTs and like, oh, somebody's got a 2019 Camaro Hot Wheels that they opened up and they assigned a code to it, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll sell it to you for $1,500.
I'm thinking of parsing out my DNA and then selling it as a bunch of individual NFTs, and then whoever buys them all has my genetic sequence.
You might as well do it now before the government does it.
Well, right.
They're like, we're already gonna. Yeah, they're like, we already have that shit planned.
Yeah, we got you. We got you. You get the Fauci ouchie? We got you.
Oh my god. So that's why like I wore a prosthetic when I got my vaccine.
That's tight.
Funny thing about my back is it's located on my dick.
I feel like you can say that for anything.
I know.
I've been like fucking chewing on halls the whole time, so I hope that doesn't like go into the mic and sound like shit this whole podcast. But my throat is.
No, I.
Oh, you
Yeah, I
didn't
haven't
hear
heard it at all. You're good.
Okay, because like my throat is sore as shit. So I found this package of halls. I'm gonna try to find an expiration date on this bitch. December 2019, which means it was probably purchased 5 years before that.
That's that's super tough.
So I opened it and like all of the like it was sealed, but all of the wrappers are like half open, and it's like the OG square cough drops. So
Okay.
they're all kind of sticky, and I'm like, either somebody unsealed it and licked them all and then resealed it, or this is how the CIA gets me. They fucking poisoned my halls, and then I waited too long to open the package again, so like the poison's now inert. So all they've done is made my fingers sticky and inconvenienced me for the evening.
Yeah, which is about the sort of like level of efficiency and
You would expect from the government.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the CIA has inconvenienced my evening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or there's just fentanyl coursing through your veins right now. And it'll take
Oh,
you
I
a
wouldn't
few
even
hours.
feel it.
it's fucking.
You're gonna need more than that. I've been in the K-hole now
Dude,
once or twice.
Yeah, but that was such a fucking pandemic up in Cleveland before all this COVID shit happened. I had friends, well, not friends, but I had friends of friends dropping like fucking flies every week to that fentanyl shit, man. It is no joke. It's even worse in Michigan. Like, I had a friend that grew up in Detroit, and he legit, like, out of his high school class, he
Go ahead.
which was like 600 people or something, he said more than half of them were dead to fentanyl. Like, that's fucking crazy, bro.
That's fucked up. I mean, what do you know, like, it's just that shit is so cheap and plentiful, and there's no reason to, like, not use it when you're making other things, but, like, that's, man, I don't know if this is intentional warfare or just incompetence. You never know, because, like, all this shit comes from Asia, right? Mm-hmm. And the whole chain is completely fucked up because everybody's kind of a scumbag.
In with that shit now, and it's like, who's doing that on purpose?
Right, because the dealers don't always give a shit. Because if the drugs are so they just get what they can get.
check their supply always either.
Right. They don't really know. They don't test. They don't care. They just get what they get. And the U.S. government doesn't care if you're dying from it. They might be doing it on purpose. They might not. The Chinese government doesn't care if you die from it or not. They might be doing it on purpose or they might not. Like, you can't even tell if it's incompetence or malicious.
Yeah.
And there's so many vectors of who's the bad guy that I don't know if you'll ever get down to the bottom of it.
It's me. I'm the one that's been
You are?
masterminding all of
You've
this.
just been a
so
Bond villain the whole time, like in
Yeah.
your basement cooking fentanyl and then shipping it
I'm petting a cat right now that costs more than you'll make in a year. So yeah.
with
it's
your
me.
gold AK that you got from your Russian boss.
Yeah, the cat is a golden AK. It's a weird anthropomorphic thing.
Oh, like it's like Animorphs.
Yeah. Halfway through it's just like a weird shrub of fur and fucking wood and plating, and then it turns into a fully fledged AK.
Brat.
What do you got here?
What is
I heard enough of that over the weekend, bro. Don't don't hit me with that.
We got a nice Colt.
Oh
case.
man.
Yeah, I've got an AR-15 just sitting in the podcast studio right now. It is a
course,
Colt fucking what is it?
Just
69
like an
something.
A1 or whatever.
Yeah, it's the civilian M4 semi-auto.
Oh yeah.
Blah blah.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
little bit of a lighter stock, a little red dot, a little 40 round mag in it, I think, right now.
Dude, I mean, Paquito, close to buying a 60 round mag at the hardware store today. I was like, and then they had 1,000 round buckets for like $300.
Oh shit.
Fuck. Yeah, I probably should do that.
Yeah, I was buying drums for a while, and then people were like, why are you buying drums? It's so heavy. And I'm like, yeah, but my robots are going to carry those, not me. So don't worry about it. This little fucking... You know what? This is going to segue into what I hate. You know what I hate? The Geneva Convention. I didn't fucking agree to the Geneva Convention. I didn't sign that shit. I didn't ratify that shit. I will not abide by that shit. Where in the U.S. Constitution does it say, thou shalt follow the Geneva Convention?
There was a fucking dude way back in like the 1800s. He wrote a little essay called like the social contract, talking about all that shit. Like, just because you live within a society doesn't mean you
Right.
signed on to whatever fucking contract that everybody else has agreed to. Like, yeah, same fucking thing. Like, no, fuck the Geneva Convention. Like,
Muted.
what up?
But you have to draw a line somewhere, right? Because if you don't, that's when you start getting like those sovereign citizen type people, where they're like, yeah, they're driving down the road, they get pulled over because they don't have any license plates, they have no driver's license, and they're like, well, officer, I'm actually traveling,
So
I'm not driving.
okay, I'm gonna call those people lunatics, while simultaneously
100%.
saying you should be able to enrich uranium in your backyard.
Yep.
Like, okay, those people are lunatics, but I think you should be able to enrich uranium if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, if mutually assured destruction is something that the superpowers get to have,
Right.
why do I not get
If
to
I-
also have a play in that?
Right, if I want to irradiate an entire city block, that's my business.
Right.
I mean, as long as
Not doing anything illegal.
I'm gonna push back on that just a little bit and say you have the right to defend yourself with enriched uranium,
of course.
but you cannot be the aggressor.
Oh
So-
well, no, it would be more like
Happy Packer.
yeah. You kind of. I'm gonna come from the libertarian standpoint, like, or the non-aggression principle standpoint. Like, you can have enriched uranium. You can have warheads.
I should be able to set it off 10 miles up in the air if I want to. Why?
Speaking of enriched uranium, I don't know if you guys saw. So I don't know if you guys saw, but the dumbest movie of all time came to Netflix this past couple weeks. It's The Sum of All Fears with fucking Ben Affleck. And I don't know if you guys ever seen that movie, but it's a Tom Clancy flick.
Oh, Jesus
and
Christ.
at some
Rainbow
point,
Six
a
is gonna
bomb-
kick in my door in a minute.
At some point, a bomb is about to go off in Baltimore. It's like a
Fine,
dirty
let
bomb
it happen.
that,
Fuck Baltimore.
yeah, that I was cheering the whole time. But anyway,
I hope the nuke wins.
this like third party group of like terrorists are acting like the Russians, trying to get the U.S. to believe that the Russians are starting this armed conflict, basically. And Ben Affleck is like the CIA analyst. And when I tell you, like, it's worse than watching like Mark Wahlberg try to play a serious role. He's talking to Morgan Freeman on the phone, and he's like, "The bomb's in play. You gotta get out of there. The bomb's in play." And I'm like, "You need to be commentating a fucking Ducks game. Like, you can't. I can't.
This isn't a
take Ben
Dunkin'
Affleck
Donuts
seriously."
order, fuckface.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I can't take his best role ever was playing a douchebag in Mallrats. I'm supposed to fucking think he's a CIA analyst. Like, come on, dude. That guy's too stupid and too handsome to do anything other than fucking complain about the Patriots. Like, that's all he has.
Have you seen Slick's brother?
Oh,
He's pretty handsome.
That's true.
He's I know him personally. He's pretty fucking dumb. I love him.
That's fair. That's fair. He's not here to defend himself. So
I know.
I'll
That's-
honor that as
I'm
well.
taking pot shots.
that's
It's
the
not fair.
best when someone can't defend themselves. That's when you strike the most.
That's speaking of strikes. That's 2 out of 3 so far. We've got enriched uranium and now attacking the
Yes.
the
So,
defenseless. One
you
more
use
in
the
this
enriched
silver rod, and
uranium.
Yellow
both, I think.
cake.
Yeah.
Yellow cake.
So,
Don't drop that shit.
like, the Geneva Conventions has like these things against like automated weaponry, and like, why? Like, why not? I can kill people safely. Why should I not be allowed to do that? I don't understand. If you are attacking me, why do I have to be physically present to eliminate a threat? If I want to drone strike you from 2,000 miles away, that's my business. As long as it's on my property. I mean, you know.
It's a similar concept too with like castles back in the day, where like someone came knocked at your door, they had like a little door or trap door above
Right.
the like entryway, to where if you didn't like them, you could dump shit on their head.
Well, what's messed up is
So
you
it's like you
you
didn't have to
just
necessarily
said what I
engage
was
with them,
going to
you
say.
could just handle like a threat from a safe place.
So you
It's the same
actually
concept.
literally just said what I was going to say. You like read my mind, because I was going to talk about like castle doctrine. You have the right to defend your home, but you can't trap it. It doesn't make any sense. If I want a shark-filled moat, that's my business, because fucking sharks are awesome, and I like to swim sometimes. Why can't I have a circular-shaped pool around my property? Why does a city council tell me I can't have that? It doesn't hurt anybody who doesn't go in it.
Yeah, as long as you respect my moat, you won't have an issue.
I smell a
Put
t-shirt.
sign out there so they
Respect
know,
my moat.
Yeah.
and that's enough.
So,
Beware
all right, so I'm
of
reading through this
hammerheads.
thing right now. Now, I do have to admit, this is my first time reading through the Geneva Convention.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
Convention number 2
Just a quick.
states that. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Like I was like, you just
Okay.
took a quick glance.
Yeah, no, Convention number 2 states that this agreement extends the protections described in the first convention, which is basically like you cannot take active part in hostility against certain parties, to shipwrecked soldiers and other naval forces, including special protections afforded to hospital ships. Now, I'm already seeing a loophole. This is
Right.
the SS hospital ship Boris. It has 40 millimeter cannons on all sides. It has enriched uranium, constantly recycling on it. And we do have ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missiles, ready to go at any time. However, there is Jim downstairs who has a really bad case of SARS, and
Yeah.
we've been treating him for the past 45 years.
Yeah,
So you
we're-
cannot attack us because this is a hospital ship.
we're
Like,
just going to the east coast of Africa to help out with malaria. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
you can't fuck with us.
Yeah.
We're a NGO, fucking hanging out, taking care of shit.
see, now this is interesting too. It says in Convention 3, it says specifically it required prisoners of war to only have to give their names, ranks, and serial numbers to their captors. Nations party to the convention may not use torture to extract further information from POWs. So, like, first off, how do you define torture? And secondly,
Right.
what am I supposed to do with someone's serial number? Like,
Right.
how is that even Just get rid of that entirely. That will never
and-
be useful to me.
And how would you ever even know your own serial number when you're dumped out of the Matrix?
Exactly. Like, what is it on my fucking
Unless
just
there's
put that shit on my wrist. Fucking
It's
tattooed. On me
tattooed.
when I-
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
tattooed on you.
Give me my yellow star and my fucking vaccine, and here's my serial number. No, I was just pumped out of the Matrix. I don't even know I'm a human being.
Dude, this kind of segues, but it sort of ties in when you were talking like getting dumped out of the Matrix. And I was in the airport, and we completely live in a like all of the science fiction cyberpunk kind of satire advertisements you always see in the future, like in all of our they're really tongue-in-cheek, like kind of RoboCop shit, or like the film version of Starship Troopers where it's all satirical. I saw an ad, and it was a Subway ad, and it was a poster like Subway sandwiches, and it's a uncanny looking beautiful white blonde girl in a blue kind of like old stewardess uniform, like saluting, and it's like has this big green like TSA approved, and then it says like our sandwiches are TSA checkpoint approved, and you can, and I'm like, they're literally advertising that this is a government okay sandwich. So
Yeah.
like government security forces won't beat you for eating for eating Subway in the airport. And I'm just like, oh my god, where do I live? What?
You can't bring your own water bottle filled with
Right.
alkaline water, but
BLT with extra onions.
yeah,
Go right
your
in.
Sweet chicken teriyaki is just fine by us.
Now I'm kind of hungry.
Yeah, all this talk about enriched uranium and yellow cake got me kind of fiending for a snack.
Dude, do you know how many calories are in uranium? Seriously, search that. I'm not kidding.
You can sneak that shit in on a sub sandwich too.
Right.
You can take a little vial of enriched uranium,
Right.
just smash.
Holy shit! 1 gram of uranium contains anywhere from 18 to 20 billion calories.
I'm saying
Why don't we just
permabulk
feed the
mode,
world's
bro.
populace with uranium, bro.
So I'm gonna make a new bulking supplement that's flakes of uranium.
Oh my god. You fucking see this dude ripped as fuck at the gym, just screaming. His eyes and ears are bleeding. And you're like, what are you using, man?
What's your
He's
secret?
like,
Triple uranium.
I've been doing this uranium, dog. I get fucking jacked. Look at me. I eat a month's worth of meal in one dust fleck.
No, pre-workout, I do the extreme triple rhino, and then I have follow it up with uranium as a post-workout.
The triple rhino. That's my favorite. My pre-workout is 2 sugar-free Red Bulls and 3 gas station dick pills. Fucking finish that workout, and I fucking eat some
Pop-Tarts.
uranium. Yeah, Pop-Tart. Pop-Tarts and uranium.
Other things
man.
too, stackers, whatever you could get to those stacker
Yeah.
energy pills.
The old day, you take the fucking Stacker 2 or the Hydroxy Cut, whatever they sold it. Fucking what is that truck stop? Flying J. You just
J.
walk in and you just look at the counter and take one of everything.
Yeah.
You zooted for 3 days. You don't know what's in that shit.
Fucking.
It's like
You go in, take a piss, and then oh yeah, some horny goat weed. Let me get some of that.
Oh,
and, yeah,
right.
Go out and get some triple stacker. Fucking.
like it's
triple
all
rhino.
my favorite, most like unregulated market in the United States of America is the gas station countertop.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
like right
100%.
now, I can go in and buy
see that
liquor.
Like
Oh.
a lot of that shit hits the shelves. It goes from like little packaging to like now you can get it in a bottle at Walmart or someplace
Right.
like that, or like a vitamin shop. It's crazy.
Where else can I get fucking Viagra, Jägermeister, a whole bunch of fucking speed and Kratom all in one shot and with an extra large slushy?
Yeah.
Like, fuck, I'm set, dude. That's my favorite.
Yeah, I need some tornado
So,
rollers and.
if you think about it, actually, the gas station is actually the world's best, like almost unregulated pharmacy and casino at the same time. You just go in and buy fucking drugs and scratch off tickets, hang out in the parking lot. That's your evening. I don't see enough people taking advantage of this. I could gamble and do drugs all night at the gas station.
That's not even to mention the secret menu. So there's
What-
some places in
what,
Cleveland. If you
unleaded?
go on
Oh.
a gas station on St. Clair and you ask for a Happy Meal, they're gonna hand you a crack pipe and some Suboxone to deal with the after effects, and that's like $20.
And
And
they're
I'm like, that's a
fucking
better deal than I'll get from my homie I grew up with. Like,
Yeah.
and
that's
they're fucking
crazy.
drive-throughs.
Yeah,
Fucking Ohio's got goddamn drive-through gas stations, so you don't even have to get out of your car to buy crack.
Oh Jesus.
it's incredible. It's
Yeah.
actually fucking super tight.
That's fucking legit, dude. I
Yeah.
think I want to start a gas station now. But I don't want to. I'm more like a convenience store with one gas pump because I don't really care about selling gas. Like you just come in and it's all fucking Rhino XL, Rhino Black, Yellow Jacket, fucking 2,000 different kinds of like speed and dick pills in liquid and solid form, and then a slushy machine and an ice cream machine.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I got a bowl
Fucking-
like that.
Yeah. Okay, so there, I don't know if you remember, the grocery store Andy's.
Mm-hmm.
There's the gas station next to it. It was owned by an old dude.
Yeah, go to BP or whatever.
Yes.
Well, yeah. There's an old dude that owned it for like fucking 40 years. And he recently sold it. And new management, whatever, don't care because he's obviously missing out on a huge market, you know, where he was at.
Mm-hmm.
It was taken over by these Indians or Pakistanis. And the first thing they did, huge glass case full of bongs, pipes, kratom, fucking CBD, Delta 8, all this shit. And it's like, yeah, this is the perfect demographic. Like this area. Like, I don't know why this. I understand why the old guy didn't do that, but like,
He didn't like getting robbed.
yeah, no,
But-
that's. Oh yeah, it was like 2 weeks. Like that store's been like incident free for like 15 years, and then they took over, and it was like 3 weeks later, like half the windows are broken out, and like they have people like just stealing shit constantly. I was in there the one day and there's like kids buying those little like essentially like fidget spinners and being like, oh, we can buy these jewel pods here too. And it's like, you guys are fucking 13 years old. And they're like, yeah, we'll just sell it to you. It's fine, whatever. But I mean, I don't give a shit, but it's just like that's how fast the fucking like all that shit changes. And
Speaking of that, I've actually never bought nicotine gum. Do you get carded for that shit?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I had a friend in middle school. We were kids. He somehow, I don't know if he just stole like a package of those, but you know, I don't think any of us thought anything of it. He got the patches, right? And it was like, check this out. It was like
What a
seven.
nerdy fucking thing to steal.
Well, no,
Shows
because
at the school, like, guys, you won't believe it.
well, yeah, okay, whatever. So he stole the box of patches. No, so we were hanging out at his house before school because we all walked, and it's like 7 o'clock in the morning, and he's like, check this out. And he stuck the whole box of patches on him, and he started
No
fucking
shot.
seizing out. He
Oh
had a
my
fucking
God.
seizure, like foaming in his mouth, and I guess I didn't know if they carded for those or not. That's all I wanted to know.
That's how you develop superpowers, I think.
Yeah.
If
No.
you survive something like that, you can just, like, you can
No, he
smell
survived,
colors
and
after
he's borderline retarded still.
Okay, that's tough. I mean, that in and to itself can be considered a superpower. Like,
Well-
I don't know if you guys have ever seen, like, in gym class, the slow kids used to, like, throw the ball 30 times further than, like, the jocks. There's got to be something behind that, right?
They got that weird like arm thing, you know, where it doesn't go all the way, so they have this like weird bound up tension in it, so it's like a slingshot.
Okay, just
Yeah.
just
The
Google
Tardmo trebuchet.
You just
Yeah,
gotta
their arm acts as a fission cannon.
you look up Charles Barkley golfing, and you'll know exactly what like. It explains all of it. Like that's like the
Okay.
perfect visual.
I'm gonna have to
Okay.
look that one up. Oh, that's hilarious.
Like the way he
There's,
drives.
No, but there is something to be said about the culture shock, right? Like, so We actually have a name for those types of places, like where they're owned by like Pakistanis mostly. So we call them Habibis up in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And that's just it's
Right.
They
like
call them that too.
yeah. They call them Habibis everywhere, and they're all the same. They all sell pretty much the same stuff, but occasionally you'll find one that's just like, man, this one just hits right. And you'll realize it's because it's the same fucking family that's run the place for like, you know,
Yep.
100 fucking years or something.
Yep.
And then, yeah, as soon as they go under new management or they get bought by a franchise or something, immediately after everything changes.
Yep.
And it's just like, I wondered how that happens. Is it like people are just constantly scoping out gas stations to rob and now this one's like less like maintained? Or is it just like they basically just don't care anymore and I don't know, like that is a good like how does it happen so quickly, because I have seen that happen
In
like,
some
personally.
places too, if you want a like serious answer, it can be like a code of respect thing. If,
Yeah,
like,
that's what I feel like it is, right? Yeah.
Like if you know the fan, like I'm not gonna rob blood, like,
Right.
you know, the same family. But if it's a new guy, fuck him.
Yeah.
Or to push it more towards the conspiracy section,
Uh-oh.
the guy could sell the place and then immediately start calling all the ops and be like, yo, you gotta run this shit to the ground. I
Right.
just sold this place for 50 G's. They have no idea what's coming. And then like he just sends all the ops towards them, you know? Like that could be it too.
Could.
Right. Yeah. Let them get their little insurance checks and be like, "Fuck this, it's not worth it," and then.
And then they sell it back to him at half the cost. Man,
Yep. Exactly.
we should run a gas station.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it could be some of that or like, yeah, like developer sponsored violence. I mean, not that that would ever happen. Never, ever, ever would that happen. But you
It's
know,
gonna be the name of my memoir is developer sponsored violence.
that's a triple entendre right there.
Yeah.
It can mean anything.
Anal rape.
Yeah, well, I guess it could. When I hear developer sponsored violence, you know what I think of? I think of a killdozer. I think of a bulldozer covered in cement. That's developer sponsored violence. I smell another T-shirt with the killdozer on it that says developer sponsored violence, because I think that's what I think of.
Fucking contractor going to.
Speaking of which, back to the Geneva Convention. Why can't I have a killdozer? I think everyone should have one. And
well, okay, I am gonna play the devil's advocate on this one.
Go for it.
There's nothing stopping you from having one. You just can't drive it on the streets. Because I have friends in Cleveland
I paid for those
that have
streets.
taken like a Jeep, like a 96 YJ or something, and legitimately converted it into like an APC. Like there is a mounted turret on the back of it. They just can't drive it around.
I think that this is all a conspiracy. It's all a ploy by Toyota so that only their trucks are the only civilian vehicle that looks suitable for military use. Because
like the Land Cruiser and shit.
Yeah, well, you see like how all of the like all the Taliban have those. They have those guns mounted in the back of those Toyotas.
Yeah, those are Land Cruisers. Yeah.
Yep.
So is that a conspiracy or is it just like patent?
So I think what they're doing is Toyota has lobbyists, right, that are trying to stop us from owning industrial level equipment. So they're psyoping us into only buying Toyotas to convert for civilian military use for my militia.
Which then further funds the
right, because then Toyota benefits.
I'm gonna push back on that a little bit. Because Toyotas are so well built, they can't sell new ones. I'm driving a 1998 with almost 300,000 miles on it, so they're not making money off of us. And you know for goddamn well, those Middle Eastern terrorists are not buying brand new ones.
I mean, that sand alone in those things, and
it's
they're
so
not
dry
dead.
out there. Those trucks don't rust.
Right, that's insane.
Some of them do, but I mean, it's so dry in the Middle East, they ain't got to worry about it. Those things will run for a fucking million miles.
That's true.
So Toyota's got a really bad business model. I think the Taliban were onto something, like sticking with Toyota. Like fuck Chevy. Fuck a Ford.
You can say something about the Taliban's brand loyalty, or most Middle East terrorist organizations. I mean, they really
they stuck to one platform for guns, one platform for transportation.
AKs and Toyotas.
If anything, I'm surprised they're not sponsored.
Right. I mean, at this
there
point,
is a lot of
not?
there's just a lot of brand equity there that they're missing out on.
I mean, there's like a there's a world of opportunity right now for Ford to start advertising to the militia market and really capitalize on what's going on right now. All we need is like one Built Ford Tough ad where it's like like a rock, you know, like those old ads. But then it's a dude like heavy gunning out the window of it.
Like a rock. Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar.
All right. Now, I've been known to some parties and friends
As a
as something
homosexual.
of a conversational terrorist,
Oh,
and
okay.
I'd like to put that on display.
All right.
So, to completely veer off topic, why is it that, and again, I was told prior by some people that this could be my age, but do you guys experience this, that when you sit down to take a poop, you have to pee almost always, but when you go to just take a pee, you don't always have to poop? Like, it's very rare.
So
Why is that?
You
Is
can't
it something
see
to
right
do with
now.
the prostate?
Yeah, so you can't see right now, but I'm pushing up my glasses. And I'm about to
Okay,
get
go ahead.
real serious. So I've
Okay.
thought about this, right? So first off, you're designed to fast track liquid through your body because you're mostly water. So sometimes when you urinate, you don't have to defecate. But when you have to defecate, your body is so full of toxins, it's trying to evacuate everything. And it's trying to get that extra, like, that little extra, like, just squeeze.
Okay.
And I feel that, like, when you have a full bladder, it doesn't push. This is, I'm totally a biologist, by the way. When you have a-
Keep going. This actually
like,
makes perfect sense,
yeah.
but I do have a way. I do have a kink in the armor that I can throw
Oh,
at you.
dude, trust me, this
So
is foolproof when I finish.
Okay.
So the bladder doesn't push hard enough on the colon because it's liquid, so it kind of goes around it. But when the colon is full of solids, it actually pushes too much on the bladder and everything has to empty. And I'm guessing there's also an instinctual defense mechanism that allows you to piss on your shit to cover it up from animals, so they can't smell you. The ammonia in your urine will you pee on your own shit so you don't get eaten by a bear.
That makes perfect sense. Let me veer back
Absolutely.
to a second. You said that when you are taking a dump, your body finds itself needing to expel all toxins, all liquids, right? And-
Honestly, I don't remember
so
what I
that's kinda
said.
happens. Yeah. Why is it then that no matter how hard I try, I cannot also come at the same time?
First off, the problem with this is you are hypothesizing that cum is a
Hold
toxin.
on. I'm gonna stop all you guys.
Is it not?
No, hold on.
It is divine.
Boris, you're not married.
No.
Aquarius, are you married?
I think it's close enough.
Close enough.
I think he's being argued at by his wife right now, if I have to guess.
Well,
Yeah.
then we'll get his opinion. I just had my 8-year anniversary. Those things are very possible to do all at the same time. So
I do get a little
It's not
leakage
a-
now some days.
it's not like an impulse, but it can totally happen.
So
Wait, so you're saying that if I tried hard enough and if I figured out like a technique, I could just completely
You can-
like I could clear all the pipes at once?
you
Yes.
could come,
Yeah.
farted it, and shit it, and pee pee at the same.
If you have a rough enough night the night before, you could throw up too.
Yeah.
Like,
Why would you want to? That's a good question.
no, I'm
That
not
does
saying
make
you.
sense because I was thinking about this
Why
a while
wouldn't
ago.
you want to?
Yeah, there was one night in Cleveland where I got so drunk
Steamered?
that I had to throw up, shit, and piss at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, how do I handle this? And I just climbed into the bathtub,
Yes.
and I realized that might be why that exists.
I thought you were
showers
gonna say I
break
just
everything.
came instead.
You're so wise beyond your
Sometimes you
years.
get lucky enough though too, where like the toilet's close enough to the shower, so you can just
Roll over.
have both.
Yeah. Oh man,
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot tonight, fellas. I appreciate it.
Oh, we're about to have Gatorade all over the floor here. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh shit! That almost came on my nose.
going in after somebody had to, you know what I mean, like totally cleared everything out.
He was
Damn.
working on it right there.
I think I just came and shit at the same time, trying to make sure the Gatorade didn't come out my nose. I don't know why I'm such a juvenile. It's not really that funny if you say cum.
It super duper is though. Like,
I mean,
one
it
of
would
the
be
most
like
popular podcasts on the planet's just called Cumtown, and anytime I read the name, I'm just giggling like a fucking moron.
I know, like
There's just something hardwired into our brains about that shit.
like he's like someone said shit, and then I almost died laughing. I don't know why. I mean, if I was just like scrotum, that's not that funny.
Yeah, it is.
Actually, scrotum is a hilarious word.
It is, yeah. It is.
You ever- just like slow play that one too, just like scrotum. Like that's such a cool word.
And
There's
as
like,
you,
yeah,
as you
it just
slow
sounds like
play
there's
it,
nothing else it could describe.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly. As you say it, if you slow play it, it's like you can see the short and curlies and the wrinkles like manifest in your mind when you say scrotum, and you just see
Scrotum.
the
It's the same with gooch as well. Like anytime someone brings up the word gooch,
Yeah.
I have
Scrotum.
to physically stop myself from laughing.
You can say it so many different ways. There's just like so many
Scrotum?
yeah. It's just so many variations.
Yeah, so let's picture a moment then where like maybe like in Latin it means something else, and like 2,000 years ago, like the Roman Empire is being built, and there's like a popular general, but his last name is Scrotum, and for some reason, because no one knows what it means, they just can't stop giggling when they say his name, even though he's like one of the most dangerous people on the planet.
It was a ploy by his enemies, so they like changed the meaning to ball sack.
Yeah.
Okay, General Scrotum.
Okay, scrotum. Yeah, he was like super feared, and then he had like a really lame moment where he's just like, "Oh, I don't know what to do. You just retreat back, suck up, whatever." And everybody's like, "Okay, scrotum."
I have
whatever you
led
say."
thousands of men in conquest over all known corners of this earth. Has been conquered by General Scrotum.
Everyone just starts laughing.
Okay, Mr. Scrotum, whatever you say. You're so tough.
Anyway, it's not funny.
No,
It's not funny at all. No, it's
medical
no.
term.
It is. Is it? I actually don't know. I think it is.
I'm not a fucking doctor. So.
I am, but I don't know.
You guys know how Chinese factories have like those anti-suicide nets that they place at like the bottom floor to stop people from like jumping off and like trying to kill themselves?
Yeah.
What's like realistically, if I'm a Chinese worker and I'm like, man, I really can't take this anymore, and I look over the edge and I'm like, drat, I guess I'll have to keep working. Like, I was just thinking like the first option that comes to mind, because I know they're like, they're super strict on like guns and stuff over there. You can't get a gat no matter what you do. So
Right.
obviously they are somewhat limited in their options. But I feel like if you're working at one of those factories, there's got to be enough scrap material to create some sort of like reverse Iron Maiden-esque sweatshirt to where you could sort of just take the leap anyway. And no matter what you land on, it could be a pile of feathers. You're gonna die due to the spikes sort of inserting at like very strategic positions across your entire body. What are your thoughts on that?
I think you are 100% correct, and more people need to kill themselves with this method.
It just seems so simple and graceful.
It'd be. I mean,
It reminds me of that fatality on Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah. And with all the propaganda coming out of that place, who's to say that isn't what that was inspired by?
Well,
Maybe
right.
what I'm talking about has already been a thing, and China is actively fighting a losing war against
Suicide
the homemade,
sweatshirts.
the homemade suicide vest that is still beating these fucking nets. And they're like, we can't let a peep of this out. And somewhere in Chicago, they fucking figured out about it at Midway, and they're like, we should turn this into a stage fatality.
Or what's probably happening? The Chinese government has our government is having to spend so much money on repairing the nets from so many people suiciding themselves that they're saying, oh, no, we'll just wipe out a race of people, and that's the Uyghurs. Those are all the suicidal
Oh, you think those are the ones that are actively at the forefront of the suicidal kind of pandemic or like epidemic that they're facing?
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
definitely
just
could be.
stopping the suicide of people and just blaming it on them being Muslim.
That could
Damn.
be.
I mean, if most of them are just if it's just jumping off buildings, can the whole thing just be resolved by only building like one-story buildings only for like the whole entire country?
Or just work underground.
I mean,
Gravity doesn't go the other way.
Yeah.
Hey, there you
Boris,
go.
are you suggesting all Chinese people should be put underground?
You know, I think I might be.
Not like maybe.
We would never call them mass graves or anything.
I was just thinking they
fuck.
would be more like
Just the suicide
mole
one.
people.
Yeah, just the suicidal ones. They wanted to be there anyway.
Fuck.
I'm sort of realizing that a lot of the problems that I've brought up have to do with like infrastructure. And I'm thinking if maybe at some point in my life I kind of missed a junction I was supposed to take to become like an
architect?
to become like an architectural engineer.
Yeah,
To like you have to like prevent all these things.
you probably should have. You would be like the
I got the perfect slogan for you. Build back better.
yeah.
There you go.
So would you be doing?
I would build the first non-Euclidean building where as soon as you walked in or even looked upon it, you would just your brain would fucking
Melt.
stop functioning and you would die.
It'd be like that painting, which, like all those stairs, and you can't really tell which direction they're going in. Like
Yeah,
you just
yeah,
walk
some
in and
MC
you
Escher
take a
shit,
step
yeah.
and you fall like 20 feet down.
I always used to mix up MC Escher and MC Hammer.
Oh,
I'd
yeah,
be like,
dude.
Damn,
This parachute
this dude
pants
was
and-
really good at drawing and also making one song.
Oh,
Oh fuck.
that's so good.
Oh. I was just gonna
Okay.
say wrong MC. I was just gonna say stop. You don't know the direction.
Stop. Which way did we come from?
Yeah.
I have one more conspiracy that I want to bring up, and this one is it's gonna need some build up.
Uh-oh.
And I promise you it is going somewhere. All right. I'd like you to
Let's see.
think of the traditional vampire mythos, right? These are creatures that they come after humans, they suck their blood or whatever. They're predators that are
whatever.
one step above humans on the
Dick
food
blood.
chain, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So a lot of people argue about where this myth came from. Like, was it the Vlad the Impaler shit in Romania? Was it like people being buried alive and then coming out and then like that somehow became the thing? Was it just like a work of
Sorry,
fiction
not
that
that kind
got
of coming out.
you know,
Sorry.
right? Here's my thought on where this came
I'm
from.
coming out, so you bet. Oh yeah, sorry.
Mhm. Here's my thought on where this came from, okay? Humanity has been on a cycle that resets every 10,000 years, roughly. I haven't come to an exact number. Every 10,000 years or so, humanity resets. That is because for the last however many hundreds of thousands of years since the Earth has been inhabitable, there has been a predator designed by some sort of deific force, so like a god, that basically is designed to do nothing but cull the population of humans and reset them to step one. This is the vampire, okay? They are not only designed, but they are also meant to basically adapt and evolve into the perfect human killer, hunter, whatever. They are so incredibly powerful that nothing in the natural order of history has ever been able to stop them. So they are able to smell you, sense you, see you from miles away before you even know they're there. And if you do manage to face one in like man-on-man combat, there is no chance you'll ever live or survive because
Is
they're
this
so
leading
much
up-
more powerful than you.
It sounds
okay?
like my
That's
wife.
The basis. Yeah.
Is this
That's the
leading up to
basis
the
for this.
evolution of garlic?
No.
Okay, I
close,
just thought this is how
close, but
garlic.
I like where your head's at. Close.
Yeah.
No, because garlic is a natural thing. So the garlic thing, that's just like mythos. That's just
Okay.
like a rumor,
You're
right?
saying it doesn't kill vampires?
It does not kill vampires.
Yeah, I've been fucking up this whole time.
Here's the thing. In traditional vampire mythos, there's been a few things known to stop vampires. There's, garlic, salt. They can only come in if you invite them or whatever. But there's also the cross, which is like, okay, it's religious. But that doesn't really make sense because vampires are not inherently of the devil. They are not inherently of hell, right? They are undead, so to speak. So why does undead get turned away by religion? So I thought about this for a while. Here's what happened. These super predators, over time, they reset humanity so many times that eventually one or two people had to make it through. And that was what began the kind of rebellion against this ancient order of like super predators. And what they found out was that because these creatures had managed to basically like master all that is natural in the universe, like they don't need air to breathe anymore. They have multiple consciousnesses, all this stuff. The one thing that they are weak to is man-made objects. Anywhere in the universe that you look naturally, there are no right angles. So once humans began creating buildings and even just small objects like a cross, which are right angles, as soon as the vampire, who's so advanced and so super intelligent, would gaze upon something that is not known to the natural universe, it would be repelled because it cannot possibly think of something that it has not already conquered mentally.
So the Freemasons are vampire hunters, is what you're saying?
Yes. 1,000,000% yes.
I knew it. Absolutely.
That's my one kind of conspiracy that I hold close to the chest.
The Freemasons, they obviously have the compass and the square, and they're all about adjoining right angles. Mm-hmm. So they must be vampire hunters. It only makes sense.
Well, right, and because the world is so civilized and so built up now, there are no vampires left. They're all in hiding because anywhere they look, there's right angles and they get all fucked up. Whereas back in the day, you had like clay huts and shit, but if someone pulled out a cross on your ass, you still had to run away because it's a right angle your mind can't possibly fathom.
So that's why there's a Masonic temple in every single like modern town, city, is to keep the vampires away.
Yep.
Or churches, I guess, in smaller towns.
I'm rubbing my chin as well.
Interesting. Where do the vampires go when they're in hiding?
The federal government.
Oh,
to space. I think. Yeah, no, I think they had to leave Earth because Earth is there's too much unnatural stuff here, so they had to leave this planet. So they're waiting for us on Mars, and when Elon shows up, he's not gonna have a good time.
The vampires are on Mars now. How do they feed?
They don't have to feed. They're
immortal.
They're immortal.
Yeah, they are literally only meant to kill humans to reset the cycle. That is what this deity created them for. Or maybe it's not even a deity. Maybe they themselves were just evolved that way. They have no need to feed. They have no need to rest or sleep or anything. They're basically like just hyper broken. Like they can do whatever they want. But they can't gaze upon anything non-natural that they've already mastered.
So here's where my mind's going. This is all new to me. I'm spitballing here. So the vampires are trying to consume the human race. The Freemasons are here to protect us from the vampires.
The Freemasons thing I was just kind of rolling with, but it is interesting to think about.
So is the Freemason thing with them being, part of like the overall arching like controlling group that we've been...
I don't even know if it's that. I feel as though if this is a reality, no one really knows about the existence of these creatures anymore.
But
and so the Freemasons are kind of an order that is there for no reason, which honestly makes a ton of sense given their, last couple hundred years.
Right, but
that's why they just do charity now?
It's a psyop. Yeah. It's a psyop by the vampires to convince the plebs that the Freemasons are part of this higher order of like the Rockefellers, all this stuff, that they're part of the you know what I'm saying?
Anti-Mason propaganda is initiated by the vampires.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That definitely could be.
that'll be the name of my second memoir.
See, I can't wait to read that.
Yeah. So the last thing I wanted to talk about is, and we were supposed to have a guest segment here. I was pretty excited. Why do women lack prostates as opposed to men? And she just barely couldn't make it. Michelle Obama was supposed to be present for this. Honestly, super important conversation. If I'm being realistic.
If
And
women
really,
had
it says a lot,
prostates,
I think. Yeah, I think
there
it
would be
says a
two
lot
ways to milk
about-
them.
Yeah.
I mean,
It says a lot about the sort of way that administration carried themselves, I think, that they would miss the opportunity to kind of shine the light on that specific situation.
The
So,
lack of care about equity and
yeah,
between like women's rights and like having
Right.
a prostate, like they totally deserve to.
If men can be pregnant, women should have prostates.
Exactly.
100%. Yeah.
There's no
And
reason I
honestly,
shouldn't be able to
other than the whole
milk a
cancer
woman from
thing,
her
I don't
prostate.
think it's a downside. I don't know about you guys, but when I take a nice fat dump, something's going on down there.
Oh,
I've never
I
really
know.
experimented
There's
further
a-
than that, but
there's a-
something's happening.
There's a few times you hold one in, and you're like, this feels kind of good.
Yeah, right. Like you're like, damn, what's going on?
Am I
There's
pregnant?
something.
Yeah.
Something's busting off down there.
I don't think it's supposed to feel good. I feel weird.
Maybe that has something to do with like our natural evolution. Maybe men are able to hold their dumps longer because of like hunting and stuff.
And that's,
Because like
so
subsistence
is that
hunting,
where
they used to run
homosexuality?
for like 36 hours after elephants or some shit to like
Yeah.
kill them. Like they would literally just like run them down until they couldn't move anymore. You can't be shitting while you're
So,
running. There's
like-
no traction.
The onus for homosexuality is holding in your dump too long, essentially, is what you're saying. And like that's where mankind originated, like realizing that orifice could be used for pleasure.
That's interesting. Now I know dolphins can also be gay. Do dolphins have prostates? I'll have to Google
We'll
this.
find out next time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So being constipated makes you gay?
It could.
I don't know. I'll hold one in and I'll I mean if I message
Report
any of you guys
back.
at 2 a.m. with a sup or something, you'll
Let's for the next episode, just try to hold your shit till the next time we record.